Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim and I thought it's time for another walk. It's very hard to plan, by the way. There are many birds around me. And this walk I discovered when I brought my little daughter to dancing classes during school holidays, and my job was to pick her up every afternoon or every evening or so. And I figured that by train it would take me like 35 minutes and by foot 55, because we're speaking here about 5 kilometers. So it's quite a distance, but it's very nice. It leads us through posh neighborhoods, and we will cross some sites. Of course, we will cross a World War II bunker, what would be a German city without a World War II bunker. So posh sites. And some of these neighborhoods are stocked with, let's say, testimonials that this city really relies on international connections, right? Traditionally, because it's a harbor city. And so we will see some embassies and some other signs that people here really feel like they are on a globe and not in their backyard, so to speak. And so let's go. And I'm wearing, by the way, a suit, believe it or not, self-tailored suit. Dark gray with chalk stripes, because it has the perfect weight. It's extremely comfortable to wear, and I paired it with trusty old Loake hides. It's a very nice shoe model by Loake. Very comfortable as well, and you can pair it with the suit, and you can pair it with jeans. You can pair it basically with everything. And I brought with me the Tissot Navigator because it fits the occasion. Tissot Navigator, 36mm in steel, I think late 90s. Hard to get, I love it. Not super legible, I give you that, but it really reminds you that you are on a globe with different time zones, and I find this very refreshing and excellent match if you ask. Okay, and here we have our first waypoint, the Grindelhochhäuser. These are large apartment buildings in the middle of the city, and now you may ask, why is that so interesting? And it's interesting because first, you don't see these large type of buildings in Hamburg at all. There are some laws against it, and the reason behind these huge apartment buildings here is World War II, because the entire area was leveled, and then the Allies decided to have a headquarters for the British military here in town. And then they figured, we need some roomy apartments, lots of them. And then they started to construct in 1946, I believe, these large buildings in the middle of the city, on the ground of a, as said, leveled old neighborhood. And you see here, these things are huge. Space for I don't know how many thousand families back then. And then later, the British forces moved out of town. And now these are pretty popular apartment buildings because they're well situated in the middle of the city. There is this green area around them, sort of a park, or actually it is a park. And so they're very popular and hard to grab. Rents are relatively low because at the end you live in a large building. But as said, this was the space for the British headquarters, I think for entire northern Germany. And you can see still one example from the examples of the old buildings here. And it looks like the last teeth in a mouth. Look at this. We see it from the back side, and you can imagine here now an entire block of these older buildings. Let's go to the other side. There you can see that's in fact a very nice old building with this old style of architecture, I think from around 1900. And with this inside, it's very easy to imagine a small town before the war, and not this. Okay, and now we're entering Harvestehude. This is a very nice park, Innocentia Park, the middle of the city, very old, founded I think 1880 or somewhat. And there you go. Embassy of Uruguay, one of the many embassies here in town. Very quiet, very small, not catching attention here. And I bet if I stand here for an hour, somebody will come out and ask me, what are you doing, sir? May I ask? Here you have another row of nice townhouses. Again, a mixture of styles, but looks pretty familiar, and so yeah, everything fits in. Again, worth millions, absolutely millions, and so you have a lot of companies in these buildings. Not all of them are supposed to be for normal residents. Well, not only beauty around, this empty thing is for sale. Could be the new Caseback Watches headquarters. What do you think? And as promised, there's our next embassy. This is the Embassy of Egypt. Egypt, not very protected. My expectations were higher. Some protection against terrorists and other people. But there's nothing going on. Not a piece of security. But again, we have a little risk that somebody comes out and tells me to stop for rent. I mean, this also could be the next headquarters for Caseback Watches, don't you think? All I have to do is to sell some more straps, and they're doing fine, my straps, and so why not? I mean, look at this excellent site vis-a-vis to the Embassy of Egypt. Also very beautiful building next to the next headquarters of Caseback Watches. This is the Anglo-German club. This is a club, I think, founded after World War II, directly after World War II, to reconnect Germany to trade partners in England or the United Kingdom, let's say. And now it houses a very good restaurant, and it's basically a club for the, let's say, wealthy people with business connections overseas. Here you have your bunker, as promised. There it is. They let these bunkers standing because it's very problematic to demolish them. You cannot make it with a bulldozer, as you may see. You need lots of explosives. And the main problem then is that the entire neighborhood would be affected by those explosives because, as said, the cities are very narrow. See that? This nice building wouldn't be there anymore in case they'd ever decided to demolish that bunker. Jeweler shop with some interesting things. There you see a Rolex, another Rolex, little one, the Rolex corner. Here we have a Patek Philippe. Excuse me, there it is, Patek Philippe. And what caught my attention is the Seamaster, Omega Seamaster. See the logo on position 6? Is this the normal way to put the logo on there? I'm not sure in this moment. Oh, there is an old Eterna, I think, this little tank there. Very interesting. And here you see the mentioned state. The state from which I picked up my little girl every day, 5 days. And it looks like an old factory, and in fact it is an old factory. Name is Kampnagel. I think they produce something, metal parts, I'm not sure. But now it's a well-respected stage, and they every school holidays they make classes for kids. It's very nice. Here's a nice cinema close by. And at the end there's then a little show, or actually it's a pretty big show for parents and friends. And it was pretty impressive because the kids were between, I think, 8 and 10 years old. And it was very professional with good sound, good light, and a really decent stage. So that's it. These were my 5 kilometers. Excellent length for a walk, if you ask me. You need your 50 to 55 minutes. And nice weather. And I think I will go back another way, past my favorite park, Planten und Blumen, because there's a little site where you can, or a little place where you can grab a sausage and a beer for lunch. And sometimes you meet friends there, and it's just cozy and nice. Or should I take this as the next headquarters for Caseback Watches? Just beautiful, just beautiful. It's so easy to have a good life in this city, at least if you're on the brighter side of life or society, let's be honest. I personally know the poor neighborhoods in this city very well because of my job as a journalist, local news and stuff. So I know them well. I know also the posh neighborhoods well. Grew up in one myself. And yeah, very different. Very, very different situation. And of course, I'm not a lunatic. I like the posh areas more. Absolutely. But I'm 100% aware of the fact that it's not normality. And it's not self-explaining that you live in such a neighborhood. Many people have reached a high social status by hard work, definitely. But at least in this town, many people have just inherited wealth, status. And so I think it's very important to be aware of that. On the blue thing, there is a police station. So there you have a local guard for an object. I don't know if it's this object there. It's an Arab embassy, I think. And there you definitely have some protection. And so maybe in a couple of minutes I'm in trouble, but let's risk it. Because this is my way, I have to go through there. I have to cross the street here. Or is it wise to risk it? There's something going on. You know what? I will not risk it. I don't want that apparello here confiscated, and so let's do it like that. Actually a very nice city. So many different sites and different objects and different styles on one place. Just interesting. All these colors here. Just nice. Every red, yellow, brown you can imagine, really. And behind all these colors is our little place to grab a sausage and a beer. And to be honest, I've walked now my 10 kilometers without a break, without something to drink. And that situation, that awful situation, will stop in, let's say, 2 minutes.